Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session of Whole Fleetboard Dump. My name is Alex.
My name is Robin.
There we go. That was so cheesy. And brilliant. So the whole point here is that we are going to find 3 tokens. This week it's my turn. Usually we ask as well. We've got a Telegram group where we ask people. And this week, it'll be me. I'm just going to go through the process as to how I would choose these 3 tokens. The whole goal is to find 3 low cap tokens. Why low market cap? Because, they're usually a bit more volatile, but it could be that, they're the ones that produce the most gains. Why is that? Because, it requires a bit less liquidity to pump the price up. So the way that I'm going to do it this week, I'm just going to go into filters on CoinMarketCap. First of all, I'll go, I don't really mind which platform really, but I'm going to go into market cap, and this week I'll choose all tokens between 10 million and 100 million. So not extremely low, not to do it too complicated there. And I'll just choose 3 of the top 10 gainers in the last 7 days. Okay, so first one, Robin, for you will be API3. API3. I don't know how you pronounce
API3. Okay, got it.
I'll send you the links in a second. Number 2, let's go with. Oh, Core has lost quite a bit. High mover, STORJ. Well, STORJ is quite well known, but let's do it easy for you. Unibots. Okay, let's go with UMA. Why not? So we've got those 3. So API3, STORJ, and UMA. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll send you these links in case it helps.
Okay,
and
interesting.
Take it away. What will be your process?
Yeah, so like Alex said, I have not seen these tokens before, so I'm just going to talk through what my process would be to do some research, very quick top level view of what the project is and what's happening with the price movement, and then at the end we'll both nominate one to hold, one for the long term, one to flip to maximize any short-term gains, and one to dump because we don't believe in the project, or maybe the project has already rugged, which happened last week. Okay, so the first one, let's have a look. So API3 I'll look at first. API3 current price $1.14. And first thing I'm going to look is just look the all-time price chart, because the first thing we can check is when did this coin become a thing. So it looks like the April 2020 it started to be a thing, and then rode the bull market wave. 2021 held its price into 2022, into April 2022, and then fell off a pretty steep cliff. Possibly bear market pressures, who knows. And since then it's been hovering around the $1 to $3 mark. And the last week or so it's definitely picked up a bit, so we've seen some gains. It's gone up from just over $1. It's now, like I said, $1.13. so we've seen a 6% increase in the last 7 days, which is good. One thing that I have been doing lately is looking at just the comments on CoinMarketCap, because sometimes that gives some indication into what what's happening on the project. Maybe, I mean, these comments are not helpful. I'm bullish on API3, but sometimes they reference the things that are happening in the market. Nothing immediately useful though for this one. And so the next thing I will do is look at the website. Let's see if we can work out what the basic project is about. I'm seeing keywords, data feeds, blockchains, bridges, middlemen. API3 DAPIs are aggregated, I guess that means decentralized APIs, are aggregated from first-party oracles directly on the native chain. This means that you always know where your data comes from and never have to rely on cross-chain bridges as a centralized point of failure for your DApp. Interesting, okay. Let's have a quick look at the data feeds, see what these are. So it seems to be aggregating coin pairings, possibly, across multiple networks. And I've got different categories: equities, commodities, cryptocurrency.
Interesting. What is the utility of the token?
That is a good question.
Yeah, just identify what can drive the price action.
Let's go back to the CoinMarketCap and see if they have They do have a white paper. This often gives some kind of clue as to the utility. This is a pretty dense document, 40 pages. Wow. Okay. So I'm not going to read all of this because we don't want to be here all day. But if I was to invest in this token, I would obviously read that and go into more detail on the website. This seems to be a tech-heavy cross-chain Oracle aggregation project. So I tend to favor the tech-heavy ones because I think that investing in infrastructure is, in general, quite a good idea. But in this case, yeah, it looks like it's doing well. It's definitely picked up over the last week or so. Let's just quickly check the socials, see if there's anything going on there. Where can I find it? There we go. X Twitter. We have nearly 50k followers, and let's check some of the engagement. They've been posting 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Yeah, they've got a fair amount of engagement. I'd say this is a legit project, possibly like a good project. I don't know. I'd have to do more research, but certainly one to look at. Certainly a candidate for hold or flip. I wouldn't necessarily dump this immediately, but I would, recommend reading the API3 white paper if you wanted to go into more detail. Alex, do you want to add anything on API3 before I move on?
Yeah, good point. So I was just looking into the token price itself. Once again, not particularly expert technical analysts, or don't take this as financial advice, or me being an expert trader. So we've got someone in the space actually today, which is probably much better than me at this. But what's really interesting is that we're probably a bit in uncharted territory right now, because it's falling below that support line of 116, and so it's already exploring a lower support around here, which is not great, because there's not a lot of certainty as to whether it would bounce back up. It actually looks like, if we zoom in a bit, it's actually starting to use this previous support line of 116 as a resistance, as we can see there. So it's a bit uncertain as to whether this is a good time for this. Obviously, there is some interesting opportunities there, because if it breaks back above the 116, just going into the next clear level, it could just mean like about 2x return if it goes back to testing this key level there. Or if it happier days, it could go 3x to test that other previous support line on around 3.6. But in any case, it's something to bear in mind, because right now it's starting to test new territories in terms of price, and so we don't know whether it's gonna this support line here on 116 is turning into a resistance line. So it could be that price can start dropping in the near future. Actually, let me see if I can draw this. Yeah, so if it doesn't break above this line, then we could actually start seeing potentially a price drop to other levels that have never been reached. So I guess that's me.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I should say that it's aggregating oracles. I don't fully understand how that technology works. Maybe that's part of what the white paper goes into. But oracles are very useful, and a lot of stable coins use oracles to track external currencies. Oracles are basically an off-chain source of data, so you can track anything on-chain if you have the oracle, which links the off-chain data to the on-chain data. So it's super useful when it comes to blockchain stuff, because it grounds it in reality to a certain extent. So yeah, anyway, now I'll move on to STORJ. Don't know how you say that. Let's go with STORJ. Let's look at, again, the all-time price. Let's look where we started off. This was born back in July 2017. So this has got some, well, as far as blockchain projects go, this has got some history. And we see two spikes, interestingly. One around 2018 and then an all-time high in April 2021. And since then, it's dropped back off. But yeah, I wonder if we can find out why it's had these two surges. They definitely don't follow the market. STORJ is being used by Reuters news agency. Interesting. Okay.
So is the price based on transactions? As in, you know, how many people are active in the protocol? What makes it unique?
Potentially, yeah. Let's have a look. Market cap 90 million and $22 million worth of volume in the last 24 hours. Ranked number 91, which is pretty high. Let's have a look, see if we can find some more information about the project. I'll look at the website. Make the world your data center. Achieve better storage performance, unparalleled security and control. Get your cloud costs and carbon footprint. Let's see if we can pick up any Internet Archive. That's the Wayback Machine and other projects like that. I don't recognize any of these other brands. Media and entertainment, backup and recovery, generative AI. So potentially some kind of decentralized file storage or server architecture. Don't store your data anywhere, store it everywhere. I wonder if this is a Arweave IPFS competitor. That could be a thing. Storing data on a massive globally distributed network instead of just a few blah, blah, blah. Privacy and durability like with CDN-like performance. Impressive. Yeah, one of the problems that IPFS has, for example, is not being able to deliver assets quickly because of its nature. It's decentralized, it's very slow. Trying to stream off IPFS is a painful experience if anyone's tried that. So it's definitely a gap in the market. And if they are able to solve that, then it would be very valuable. It looks like they are potentially doing quite well. They've got a few partnerships. If Reuters are using them, that is a very good sign. And
very good. I wonder what they're storing there. Are they storing news? Content? Well,
I would guess content. Yeah. I don't know.
The whole point of a decentralized storage protocol is that content going to be corrupted or edited. You know, it just stays there forever. So, yeah, super interesting to see that Reuters is going into this and wondering what they are uploading to the blockchain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem when it comes to censorship. So, especially with news, I suppose, if you want to access uncensored news, then a decentralized file storage network is a good way of doing it, because any servers ultimately can be controlled by whichever jurisdiction they're in. So yeah, there's some details on the website. It's a very nice, flashy website. So that's, again, superficial, but often these things actually do matter. They're based in Atlanta in the US. Let's see what they've got in terms of white papers. Yes, they have a white paper. And then again, if I wanted to go into like actual investment territory, I would definitely read this or stick it into ChatGPT and get a summary. How many pages are we looking at? 90 pages. Yeah, I'm not going to read that right now, but it's a good sign. So we're looking at an established project. They've been going a long time. They have had two price spikes, potentially to do with how much the network is being used, or maybe there were big news stories or big partnerships which caused these spikes. But that hopefully would indicate there may be another spike in the future. Maybe other partnerships on the cards. But yeah, this seems like a healthy ecosystem. Final thing I'll do is check the socials just to make sure that they are... Is this not scrolling? Just to make sure that they are actually active. This time we've got 120,000 followers on X and a fair amount of engagement, not a huge amount. But yeah, it's a healthy project.
Super technical. You know, I guess it's not like a, you know, hyped project. It's very technical and yeah, really interesting. There's a link that I sent you. I'm not sure if you can open it. It's here in the chat for the Web3 index, and I just realized that STORJ is the most used storage protocol at the moment, at least on the last I want to say 7 days. I'm not sure if it's based on 7 days or 30 days, but STORJ is right there at the top. And from a little bit of just googling, it does say that STORJ is used for gas fees. Not entirely sure if it's to do with just the upload of content, or if it's also paying gas fees for every time someone's consuming or accessing the content. But I thought that this was super interesting, seeing all of these other storage protocols, you know, Live-Peer, Helium, STORJ being right there at the top with $50,000 more in terms of fees in the past 30 days. So wondering if that means that more people are uploading or consuming content that's on STORJ.
Yeah, I've never seen this before. This is very interesting. Yeah, like with any file storage, decentralized content delivery system, the fees can often be an indicator of the volume of activity on the network, and things like Filecoin and stuff have the utility of the token is tied to the network. So I don't know exactly what the utility is for STORJ, but if it is tied to the token, then that could be a good bet for the future, because I think the future of decentralized file storage is definitely a positive. It's definitely something that we're going to see more of. So yeah, that's an interesting one. That's a good token to look out for. I would definitely want to research more on that. For now though, let's move on. Unless Alex, you want to do some analysis on STORJ?
Yeah, super quick. I was just putting a couple very simple key levels. We're not in uncharted territory just yet. Seems you know, it's kind of exploring that 20 cent area. So still, you know, struggling right there, but you know, we've been there at least. Let me see if I can draw over here. Not sure if that. Yeah, so very ugly color, really. Sorry about that. But we put an arrow. Should be able to put an arrow. There we go. So we've been here, there. We've been also here. We have been here as well. And of course, you know, that was the breakup point back in 2020. So yeah, quite interesting. So if it bounces back up, you know, it kind of looks like the next potential price to test would be around 50 cents. That gives you, you know, a bit over 2x. If it bounces back up, it seems like quite possible. For longer term, and I'm guessing when the network is being used a bit more, another key level that has been tested a number of times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plus times. So this is a weekly chart. So that means that for many, many weeks, this next key level at $1.50 has been tested once and again. So, you know, fees going up, I'm guessing that the action of this token could take you all the way up there, which is a 6x for a long-term hold, if you know the fees are being paid in STORJ, of course. But in any case, if this bounces from here, then I don't see why not it wouldn't be doing, you know, even something like this to test that price at $0.5.
Cool, that is very interesting. And I wonder if, I mean, something that we could do if we had longer would be to try and find out whether those two peaks in the past correlate to anything, to market, to network activity, or maybe there was some kind of controversy or news story. I would bet that if somebody were to put in some analysis, they could find out what caused those spikes, because they're very clearly defined, and maybe predict when the next one might be to see if there's a see if that happens again, and then get in just in time. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, something to mention as well is like we saw on API3. You know, it could be that also the token does something that's never happened, so it's uncharted territory. So you know, seeing that price being quite, I'm not going to say stable, but you know, we've been at 23 cents before, so you know, it the saying is history doesn't repeat, but it certainly rhymes. So it could be that essentially something very similar happens, or it's not a great market, so it could be that, you know, we go into uncharted territory, which means we wouldn't know what the price would be. So it's also quite important to bear that in mind.
Yeah, good point. Let's see what we can find out about the final token today, UMA. Okay, so currently we're sitting at $1.35, and the last week has seen a decrease. Oh, no, sorry, it's gone exactly the same. So the last 7 days we've seen a 0% movement. And then looking further back, it looks like we started in July 2020. There was a all-time high in April 2021, and since then we've seen a gradual decline. It's not really recovered by the looks of it. So we're sitting at $1. The high was $11. No, sorry, $30. Let's check the social mentions quickly. Nothing obvious. There's a bit of analysis that we could have a look at. Let's see if we can find out what UMA is. What is the project about? UMA.xyz, a decentralized truth machine. UMA's optimistic oracle can record any verifiable truth or data onto a blockchain. Okay, so maybe it's like a oracle as a service type business model. The optimistic oracle verifies data in stages. The statement is proposed as true. A natural language statement is submitted along with a bond. The bond acts as a bounty for anyone to disrupt it if they're interesting. Okay. So it seems like this is a protocol for turning off-chain data into on-chain data via some kind of social validation system.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've not come across this sort of thing before. I mean, in theory, it would work. The whole thing with this kind of thing is it's only as valuable as the social network that it's built on. So if people don't use it, then it's useless. Looks like you stake UMA to help secure the oracle. You vote and then you earn. So it has a clear utility as well for the token. So the token is going to be tied to the success of the project in that way. Maybe possibly even governance as well. Clear utility though is always good to see. And let's see, project built with the OO. Polymarket across outcome. Shapeshift. I've not come across. Oh, snapshot I've come across. Interesting. Okay. So that's a pretty cool prospect. I don't know why the market has not really agreed with me. Let's check. Yeah, we've got a white paper and it's on GitHub. But I would encourage anyone to look through that. No updates for 3 years. I guess that's fine as long as the as long as they had the entire idea back 3 years ago. It seems like a not a new concept, but my initial reaction is if it hasn't taken off in the time that it's been around, then maybe it won't take off. An interesting thing to see would be the social accounts. Let's check X, see what kind of thing they're posting. 66k followers. August 29th they last posted. A fair amount of engagement. So it seems like they still are working. But it would be interesting to see what they're working on, because as far as the price goes, it seems like there's not a lot of movement.
Also, from a really quick search it's a bit hard to find whether UMA is used for transaction fees. Obviously, in the website, as you showed earlier, there is a 30% APY if you vote, as I understood. But again, not sure what other utility the token has apart from just voting on proposals and essentially governance.
Yeah, it seems like you can stake it as well. To help secure UMA's optimistic oracle. Yeah, I don't know exactly how the staking system would work or exactly how the protocol works. An interesting thing to check would be to actually look into the smart contracts that they deployed and see who is interacting with them. Is this a system that is actively being used or not? If so, and if there's an opportunity for growth, then that could lean towards it being a good investment. If it's one of those concept projects and since its launch it's not really taken off and the actual use of the protocol has gradually declined as well, that's a pretty good indication that it's not really going anywhere. So yeah, it seems like a cool project, seems like a great idea. Is it being used? It's hard to tell, but the market doesn't seem to be particularly optimistic, and it hasn't for a long time. Nice. Do you want to do a quick analysis of that, Alex?
Yeah, why not? So, once again, guys, anybody watching, this is done in literally 2 seconds. So, you know, if you've got a different opinion, please feel free to jump in. We're just obviously analyzing this as we go, and always trying to keep it within, you know, less than 30 minutes conversation. So back to this, you could see, you know, we've been close to this price of 1.3 before, but the price is being rejected constantly from $3. But in any case, you know, it could be interesting to explore this as a short-term gain. Reason being is, let me just get the arrow, there we go. So once we were getting closer to this lower level, it rejected, it tried to go back up to $3. We then went back down to test for the first time. We reached closer to, yeah, just over $3 twice. So maybe this key level could be brought down a little bit. There we go. So it could be, you know, third time is the lucky one, who knows? It could be that this then goes up to that $3 level. So, you know, a potential trading idea could be this. Once again, not financial advice, but it is something that could be, you know, with little liquidity, this token could just go 2x quite easily. Then afterwards, it could be quite difficult then to keep pushing it up. There is a key level around here because we've explored this price several times there before we jumped up. Then we explored it once again before we went up, and then it was, as you can see on this candle there, the 17th of January last year, it was the breakout point to go down. It was a fake out up, but then we went down. So could be the second key level, could be this one at 5x, but seeing that this price keeps getting rejected at $3, it could be that, you know, it's a bit difficult to go back up. But I guess that's my personal point of view on this one.
Yeah, this is a tricky one because it's the potential gains are quite high because at one point the sentiment was strong, but now it seems like a lot of people have left and there's not a huge amount of optimism. So for me, going to the magical hold, flip or dump decision, this one for me would be a dump just because it seems like a cool project. It seems like nobody's using it. Maybe I'm wrong. But potentially large gains if you're willing to risk it. I would say for me, STORJ is the stronger long-term prospect. So I'm going to say that would be my hold of the three, because I think decentralized file storage in general is just a very useful thing to have. And there are huge problems with the current technology that could potentially be solved. So the idea potentially is there. I would have to go into more details on the technology, but that could be a long term for me. And then Flip, API3 seems to have done well in the last week. Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. And but potentially that could keep going. So I would pick that one as my flip and try and ride that wave up to the top and get out before everybody else. What about you, Alex? How are you feeling about those three?
Yeah, brilliant. I do agree. I think STORJ for long term, I see it as quite interesting, both on the utility and yeah, the project itself and the token action. To flip API3, yes, and then to dump would be UMA as well. So yeah, I think that's about time. We've got a couple seconds before this cuts out. So thanks so much, guys. If you like this, join us on Telegram, join us on Spaces every Monday, and yeah,